description box below in your YouTube player for tabs and backing tracks on my website, information about the sound tools I'm using today, and links to other goodies via my Patreon page. Continuing. Alright, so first things first, let's review the forms I'm working with. This is all A minor pentatonic, our trusty A minor pentatonic. I'm actually starting with a behind the standard box. So to review that one, some people call that box 4. I actually think of it as cage shape, the one that's built off of this A minor inversion. Well, actually, it's a root triad. For me, everything is much easier to remember if it's chord based rather than like dots on a grid that I saw on the internet. So that scale truly 5 3 5 2 5 2 5 3 5 3 5. Now I do allow my students. I do weird stuff with fingering. I tend to like up top, I think it's okay to like... These have to be index and pinky. I don't want to see this. I think that's bad. But you can see I'll do a lot like this, Tony Iommi style, where it's index and pinky. He had those mangled fingers here and here, so he did a lot like this. By the way, there's slow down gears in YouTube. Down here, on your regular stuff, or on a tablet, I think they're up here. 3/4 speed, slower, half speed. I'll sound funny, but it's really great for working. Arrow goes 5 seconds forward, 5 seconds back, spacebar pauses it. Superb way to work with guitar lessons on YouTube. Okay, so if that's the scale we're working with, the first position of it, I'm doing a sequence I like to call one step forward, one step back, I guess, because it's like the note below it, and then the note. There he is. I got some cool pedals going, by the way, too. Side trick, if you listen close, I have a delay going very low mix, and I do have a MXR, well, like the super retro phase 90s going for maximum Gilmour-ness. Lately I've been enjoyed. Very quiet. You get that delay going. You get the So it's like either an eighth note or a dotted eighth, and then super low in the mix. It does something cool. So there's first lick. In high school, whoever could do that fastest was de facto the best guitar player. Usually we do it. I wasn't the fastest. I'm not that good at this. So I actually purposely slowed this down to such a speed that I'm doing it with all downstrokes. Because then I could put more English on it. I could kind of accent notes and pop notes. And also, it is a guitar player disease to try and play everything just stupid fast and just try and shoehorn in as many notes as we possibly can. There's no need for that. It's to our own detriment. We stress ourselves out. We feel bad about ourselves that we can't play like Eddie Van Halen or Joe Bonamassa. And it's like, those guys are great, but there's a whole other world of musicians that sound great and aren't fast. So that's kind of purposeful that I did it that way. Next trick is, I'm like, oh yeah? If we can't play fast, let's play smart. We're going to now move up to the next position, our standard position of pentatonic minor, and come down. That's a cool, that's just a music school workout trick where you're like, oh, go up one, come down the other. So I'm now thinking of our usual, that one, and I'm coming down in groups of 3. I did have to put a weird tail on the end to make it like fill the bar out. Truefire's lick too. And then I don't even, everything has to be in some kind of context for me, so I want to build, I had like this, in my envisionment, this was like the intro to some like sick psychedelic rock song. So I was like, well, there would be like a big bam, kind of like a D type chord here. And this is kind of a D. It's like a D over A thing. 0, 4, 0, 3. So I went up, down. I'm like, well, then I want to go up again, another position of my pentatonic minor. So now I'm thinking of the one that I consider to be based off of this shape, this extension. So that box, and some people might know it as I tend to always focus on the root, start my scales from a root, because again, it helps my ear know what's going on. So there we go. Let's see. And then so when I'm going up, I'm doing the note behind the note, and then the note again pattern. I guess the I don't know what to call that. I think you can see what I'm doing there. That's my D string. 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9. 8, 7, 10. 1 fret bend. Why'd I do that? Because I put an E chord in there. So ultimately, like that backing track is like going. It's doing a 1, 4, 5. It's building up to like come back around to A again. So yeah, I knew I wanted that. So I do a 1 fret bend on that. So we had that position connects to that position to that one. I could have kept going. Go up this one. And that would have covered all 5. But I don't know. It got too mechanical if I put in all 5, so I only put in 3 of the 5 pentatonic boxes. Maybe I'll do one that uses the other ones. And then I cop, this riff is from a obscure, never quite made it 60s psychedelic rock band, Budgie. They got to open for Led Zeppelin some. I have a soft spot in my heart for like that whole genre, the Nuggets box set stuff, just like all the offshoots, Cactus, Budgie, Captain Beyond, like the psychedelic rock stuff that didn't quite break all the way through. Anyway, I changed the key of it to A, and that gives us, so that's an octave walk down, 3 and 5, 4 and 2 and 4, 1 and 3, A power chord. And this I'm kind of grabbing a 7 there, but mostly I'm getting that 5 and 5. And that is the song is called Guts, and Budgie, they do it. But I moved it to A. So 7 and 5 there on my D, my A and my D. That's kind of the riff. So I did that a couple times. And I do with the phaser and my setup, and my Greer Southland. Again, that's an argument for not playing a lot of notes when you got cool tone. You just let the tone do the work for you. So that's just a double stop bend. I got an 8 with my pinky, and I'm actually using, that's on my B string. I'm pushing up that 7 with these two. come on, that sounds so awesome. And I just kind of do it like a, kind of a, just work it. You know, that's a standard 5, 7, 5 blues lick. And then I'm like, it's fading. Look at what I'm doing there. Look at how that string is under that finger. And the reason I don't get terrible noise when I come down is this hand. That's a big pro tip for you, friends, people. I notice sometimes if you're playing and you have a big space, you get all that. Push him down, or her, or they, it. Let that hand rest on the strings. It'll stop them. And then it's just fading. I'm just playing around with blues stuff. I could sit here with this setup all day. There you go. I would definitely recommend play this one very slow and very clean. It's always tempting with some hot shot pentatonic run to see how fast you can do it. Don't bother. Because this one's more about connecting those pentatonic structures to each other and teaching our hands new ways to move through those scales. That's what sequences are great for. This is, well, it's kind of two sequences. It's the step forward, step back sequence, as well as a group of 3. I also like groups of 4. Those are really the only ones I use. If you were to ask a jazz teacher what sequences they use, they're going to have some really interesting ones for you. Also, a prog metal player is probably going to have some interesting ones as well. All I can tell you is what works for me. And then I think that's really all to discuss with this. Good luck.